Bonaparte was a military general who became the first emperor of France. His drive for military expansion changed the world. Main facts. Napoleon Bonaparte was a French governor during the 18th and 19th centuries. He was born in August in 1769 in Corsica and died on May 1821 in an island of England. He was known for achieving to conquer and control most part of Western Europe by means of an advanced and aggressive military strategy of alliances. After a decade of military success, the self-declared emperors of France and king of Italy enclosed the establishment of his own civil code, Napoleonic Code. Napoleon was finally defeated by a coalition at Waterloo's battle. Few days later, he was sent to the British island of St. Helena, where he died 6 years later. The history remembers him as a military genius or one of the major assassins of all times. Main battles. The conqueror of Italy. Bonaparte took command of French army in Italy. He successfully led the invasion of that country. He managed to get the Austrian forces in Lombardy and defeated the army of the Papal States. However, Bonaparte ignored orders of Rome and dethroned the Pope. In 1797, Bonaparte, to the command of the army, defeated the Austrian generals whose troops were superior in number and forced Austria to sign a peace agreement. The resulting Treaty of Campo Formio gave France control of most of the area of north part of Italy, as well as that of the Netherlands and the Rhine area. A secret clause promised to give Venice to Austria. Then Bonaparte organized the occupied territories in Italy. Battle of Leipzig. The Battle of Leipzig was the largest armed conflict of all Napoleonic wars and the most important battle lost by Napoleon Bonaparte. After the disastrous campaign in Russia and the defeats in the Spanish War of Independence, the anti-French forces had regrouped in the Sixth Coalition, comprising Russia, Spain, Portugal, Prussia, Austria, United Kingdom, and Sweden, among others. With all these countries, the Sixth Coalition could put more than 500,000 men in the battlefield. The battle began with an attack of 130,000 Allied soldiers. The Allied offensive had little success and retired again. But now the huge forces of Napoleon could not break the enemy lines, which resulted in a hard fight standing. Napoleon finally saw the battle was lost, and one night most of the French troops began to withdraw. The withdrawal was developed in order to the entrance of the afternoon, when the only bridge was destroyed by a mistake, making the last group of French soldiers being captured by the Allies while trying to swim across the river. The Continental Blockade was the main base of the foreign policy of Napoleon I of France. In his struggle against the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, it consisted of an economy and commercial system imposed by France which excluded Britain from all commercial exchanges with the rest of Europe, hoping to ruin it financially. The British economy, as a result of the early beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, had emerged with force in Europe on the role of exporters of manufactured goods, thus occupying the place of major industrial producers and suppliers of goods to the result of Europe and the world, although the Continental Blockade caused more collateral damage in the French Empire than in Great Britain. Napoleon Bonaparte was a successful general and probably would have defeated the British, having failed to land his troops in England. However, the means to confront the Royal Navy failed. Their invasion plans were aborted by the Battle of Trafalgar, and instead of military strategy, he opted for the strategy of economic warfare, taking into account the national British fortress, which was based on his flourishing international trade. Napoleon issued the Berlin Decree forbidding his allies and the rest of conquered nations trade with the United Kingdom. The only European country that openly opposed the Continental Blockade was Portugal, a country that depended on trade with Great Britain and its incomes of overseas empire to survive. This caused the threat of Napoleon from invading the Portuguese realm with help of Spain. Britain took advantage of this situation to give their support to Portugal in this evacuation, put as a condition that will allow British trade with Brazil, thus following the establishment of the court of the House of Bragança in Rio de Janeiro. Great Britain won the access to another lucrative market. The defeat of Napoleon. Napoleon was finally defeated at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 by the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Prussia. He was exiled to the island of St. Helena in the middle of the Atlantic, where he died in 1821. Consequences of the Napoleonic Empire. The main consequence of the Napoleonic Empire was the crisis and the subsequent fall of the ancient regime. Political changes. Other forms of government were established, such as constitutional and republican government. Constitutions based on popular sovereignty were adopted. These include male suffrage, separation of powers, and protected rights of the people. Political parties, they represent citizen interest. The Declaration of Rights of Man and the Citizen established equal rights for men. Economic changes. All citizens had to pay taxes. The nobility and clergy lost the privilege of not paying taxes, and law guaranteed free trade and respect for private property. Social changes. The state system disappeared, so everyone was equal before the law. The bourgeoisie could now participate in politics.